Howdy gamers, let's talk about the runes for Fiora. They're pretty set in stone, but the variations are really meaningful whenever you end up running them. So starting off with the Keystone, it's going to be Conqueror. You gain stacks of Adaptive Force whenever you attack enemy champions, and then you build this up through hitting abilities and auto attacks. And Fiora is one of the quickest champions at building this up whenever she's actually queuing onto someone and then continues to hit them. So with Conqueror, it's going to give you bonus AD, and then once fully stacked, you're going to heal for 15% of the damage you deal. Has pretty good synergy with the way that her kit functions, where it's like get on top of someone and then be healing. Her passive's healing her itemization's healing her, and Ravenous Hunter, and then you're also going to be healing from the Conqueror, where you're also healing from 15% of the damage you deal. That's also going to be more impactful in team fights, where if you're hitting more champions, you're simply healing more from that. But in the laning phase, you do have to build up Conqueror for it to be pretty meaningful, but whenever you're taking trades naturally, it's going to be doing that. With Fiora too, your early itemization is usually like double Dorans and then a T-Mat. With Conqueror, you're accessing like attack damage at a timing in the game that you otherwise wouldn't have it. The Adaptive Force, granted, also is based on your level, so since you're scaling into the late game, since you're a solo laner, you're going to be getting more levels and then access to that extra AD way faster. Fiora also has ridiculous scaling on her attack damage, so simply having more does go a long way and is pretty meaningful on her, which is why Conqueror's like the best keystone on her. No thanks. For the secondary rune, it's going to be Overheal. Triumph is okay, and Presence of Mind is kind of, if you're running Mana Immune and you're really just fucking going for late game, sure, Presence of Mind is fine. Triumph is okay, but since Fiora is primarily about trading in the laning phase, Overheal, excess healing on you becomes a shield, and then becomes a shield up to 10, and then the shield is built up from 20 to 100% of excess healing from yourself or an ally. So basically, you build this up through autoing minions with double Doran's Blade or one's Doran's Blade, or whenever you have Ravenous Hunter completed. And then the extra shield just becomes effectively more HP. Since Fiora is vulnerable whenever she's not on a target, the damage that she's taking there feels a lot worse. Whenever you're even at like 80% HP, it feels really bad to try to start a fight from there. So just having more effective health with Overheal makes it so that your smaller trades in lane are going to go more in your favor. And then come mid to late game, it's going to help you side lane as you simply have more HP. It's going to help you in 1v1s, 1v2s, 1v3s, etc. So Overheal does go a pretty long way, and it has really good synergy with her itemization in Ravenous Hunter plus Trinity plus Lifesteal item, etc. For the third rune, it's going to be Alacrity. Bloodline is good, but I think you're better off getting the lifesteal from itemization with Fiora versus the attack speed. Your attack speed itemization is pretty limited in like Stinger or maybe Berserker Greaves or something if you're going really offensive. But with Alacrity, even if you're like with your 2-item spike, Alacrity is going to give you a lot more leeway. If you are just trading auto for autos with the champion, having one more auto or two more autos in that all-in is just giving you more damage. If you're in a team fight, whenever you're trying to proc vitals on someone, you do have a lot more leeway with the extra attack speed. As even if you're getting CC'd or slowed, getting the vital off is just a lot easier if you have the more attack speed. And if you're already on top of someone, having more auto attacks is just more damage and then more healing for you, and yeah, it's just better. More attacks, better. It's kind of as simple as that. With Bloodline, again, I think you're better off getting the extra lifesteal from your itemization. So Ravenous Hunter plus either Death Stance or Bloodthirster second. Like it's not that hard to itemize that for that. In the fourth rune, Fiora is kind of awkward. Your best options are Coup de Grace or Last Stand. Coup de Grace giving you more damage against targets who are low, and then Last Stand giving you more damage whenever you are low. This is really awkward for Fiora as she's a champion that like plays around with her health pool, but if you're not low enough, you aren't getting as much damage. So if you're winning, you're just missing out on the Coup de Grace damage. Or if you just have an HP advantage at the start of the trade, then you're not getting as much value out of Last Stand versus like when you get chunked and then you can't turn anyways. So the way I look at this is, or I think the simple way to look at this is you should run Coup de Grace in every matchup except for the tank matchups. Because in the tank matchups, Fiora is completely fine being lower health. And she commonly is because those champions have poke abilities. Champions like Rumble, not really a tank, but like still has the poke ability. Mordekaiser, Ornn, These champions usually have ways to get you lower whenever they're either just naturally laning or when a fight starts out. So whenever they do that, Fiora has the ability to heal it all back through her itemization, through her passive, and then through her ult. And by doing so, she's just going to be dealing more damage to them. And since it's a percentage increase, it should be more effective against the tanks, if I'm thinking about it correctly. But with Coup de Grace, it's just better into every other matchup, as it's going to be more effective into ranged matchups and into bruisers. As if you simply have the more damage to finish them off, it's just better versus dealing more damage when you're low. Because usually in those matchups, one person gets the like one better hit on the other one or blocks the hit, then that's usually leading to a lethal. And if you have the damage to finish them off, it puts you in a lot better position, especially in team fights. If the person's getting away with like 1 HP, or if you're not proccing your ult or something, it feels so bad. So yeah. With the secondary runes, I think your better options are Bone Plating plus Overheal or Second Wind plus Overheal. In melee matchups, Bone Plating is going to be giving you really good value as you effectively just have more HP. With Bone Plating, after you take damage from an enemy champion, the next three spells or attacks you receive from them deal 30 to 60. That's based on your level, less damage. And again, since you're in the solo lane, you're going to be getting to the higher values of this earlier because you get the more levels earlier. So whenever you're playing into, say, Irelia, Camille, etc., they have to jump onto you first. And if you're trading onto them and then they retaliate, you've blocked like one of their hits with bone plating. But if they jump onto you, let's say Camille E, you don't repost it because you're bad, and then she E's, and then auto Q, you've probably blocked like the E damage, the auto Q damage, and yeah. So effectively just having more health against champions that have to jump onto you, basically every melee champion in the top lane, is going to be more valuable. Again, if you're playing into the tank champions though, Second Wind is going to be giving you more value. So the champions like, again, Rumble, Mordekaiser, Ornn, where they have poke abilities in their kit, even though they're like short range, they do have ways to damage you. And with Second Wind, it doesn't have a cooldown on its healing. So after you take damage from an enemy champion, you heal for 4% of your missing health, plus 6 over 10 seconds. This can give you like 300 extra health from levels like 1 to 4 against matchups like that. It's so crazy. It's going to be beating out something like the healing from Biscuits almost every single time. And then come mid to late game, having that like ambient healing is just giving you more effective HP to play with. And then with Overheal, whenever you're near monsters or enemy minions that die near you, basically just minions, you gain 3 maximum health for every 8. Once you absorb 120 enemy minions, you gain an additional 1.3% maximum health. This is just effectively like a ruby crystal for free, and to have that on top of like you're already going for like a 2-item spike on Fiora, just makes you tankier. And to have more HP to play with makes things so much easier and makes you just that much tankier that you otherwise wouldn't be able to be without the rune. So I think these are like, I think Resolve Secondary is like your best options in most cases. You do have the luxury of Inspiration Second though. With Inspiration Second, your best bet is Free Boots plus Biscuits. Free Boots is going to be offsetting the cost of Boots, obviously, saving you 300 gold. So since your early itemization is so like kind of clunky, where you want like maybe 2 Doran's Blades, a Tiamat, and then like a component of another item, squeezing Boots in there is just bad. It's just too hard. And then you don't want to be completing the tier 2 Boots pretty early either. You're usually looking to complete like Ravenous Hunter, Trinity, and then defensive boot in either Ninja Tabby or Merc Treads. And by having the boots be free, not only are you saving 300 gold, but then you're accelerating the timing at which you can complete the tier 2 boots come mid game. So that's the best value out of Magical Footwear. It's also kind of like a reward for winning the matchups that you're already winning. That's the best part about Inspiration is you get this better reward. You get the reward of saving 300 gold and then effectively just the extra mana from Biscuits from already winning lane. So with Biscuits, you receive a Biscuit every 2 minutes until 6. Using them restores 10% of your missing health and mana, and then you permanently increase your mana by 50 whenever you use them. So Biscuits is going to be giving you about 200 mana, and in the laning phase, they can help in an all-in, but they're mostly just for the mana. So if you end up using them for the health, it's kind of just icing on the cake. They also give you about 70 gold or so if you end up selling them. So again, it's kind of like a reward for already winning the lane versus having the better laning tools and then the extra health scaling. So depending on the matchups, it would take that trade-off. But defaultly, I'd go with Bone Plating Overgrowth, just the easiest to use, and then also usually the better scaling. If you're already winning too, you don't really have to worry about like winning harder, and that's kind of what Inspiration does. For the adaptive runes, it's going to be attack speed 6 AD, and then depending on your matchup, you obviously want to switch the resistances. So if you're playing into Irelia, Camille, Darius, etc., you want the armor, and then if you're playing into the tank matchups, Rumble, Mordekaiser, even against Ornn, you could probably get away with the magic resist, depending on how you want to play it, as Ornn deals more physical early, but then deals more magic later. So you do want to switch the resistance depending on your matchup every single game. So these are the default runes I'd recommend on Fiora. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I answer literally all of them. And if this video helped you, leaving a like on the video helps me. Now, let's talk about Grasp of the Undying. Grasp of the Undying I don't think is very good on Fiora, as you enter a kind of gimped page, and then it makes things pretty awkward for you. So if you were to run this page, you'd probably be you'd probably be running something like this. The Grasp page is usually trying to compensate a losing matchup, but the thing is with Fiora, if you already have a losing matchup, this rune page isn't going to win it for you. Either your jungler is, or you're just not going to win it. And Grasp can be a better trading tool because the way Fiora can proc it with her Q. There might be matchups like that I just don't know about where it is better. But with if you're not running Conquer, you are missing out on a lot. You lose a better all-in potential when you finally can attack like the enemy laner that naturally beats you. And then, yeah, just having a worse all-in, just if you already have the losing matchup on Fiora, getting pushed in and then, yeah, conceding a tower, your first tower top lane isn't that bad. But Grasp, like, I feel like the Grasp page just tries to circumvent that. So with Grasp, you deal bonus magic damage based on your maximum health. You heal based on your max health, and you permanently increase your health by 5. Like, compare Fiora using Grasp of the Undying to like Cho'Gath using Grasp of the Undying. It's a completely off thing. And running Demolish second is super anti-synergistic as well. As if you're running Grasp, you're already conceding like that you're losing early, and Demolish, you need to be getting turret plates to be getting value out of this rune. Second Wind is good, Revitalize is fine. And then with the other runes, it's kind of just like getting what you need from precision otherwise. Well, I suppose if you were running this into a losing matchup, maybe you would run Last Stand, or you probably would actually. You'd probably run Last Stand plus Alacrity to be getting more damage in your all-ins, since you'd be lower and then you'd be healing more. But yeah, that's that. I really don't prefer this page. The matchups in which you would run it, I think you might as well just concede to lose your first tower early and then spike harder into the mid game. Try to scale through your itemization, not through the runes. That's how I would see this rune page. Maybe it does have its matchups. I'm not a fucking Fiora expert, but that's that. So again, if this video helped you, blah blah blah. Twitch.tv/SollyNelson. Links in the description. I talk about League of Legends there. Bye bye. See you later. Fiora, pretty good. Coming into season 10, pretty good. Being level 18 at like 32 minutes, pretty good.